It's only natural that we sometimes question whether we really are living in a simulated universe, because it does sound a bit of a crazy theory at first when you first discover it. But in this video, I'm going to go through 3 major reasons that strongly suggest that we are living in a simulated world. So the first one is pretty much everything when you look around is based on mathematics. So whether it's light, speed, weight, density, all of these things are very precise mathematical measurements. Even our DNA, so the thing that constructs us, that makes us who we are and makes us different to every other person, is effectively a binary computer code. In fact, talking of computer code, one of the scariest things that I saw was, and you might have seen this before, there's a video on YouTube about it, is the scientist or his team that was responsible for advising Barack Obama on kind of scientific things. They were studying basically formulas or creating formulas that explained the expansion of the universe. I guess maybe based on Big Bang Theory. But what they discovered was the formula that they produced that kind of explained everything was almost identical to computer code. And not only that, but computer code that is typically used for creating web browsers. And I remember when I first heard that, the hairs on my arm stood up and I thought, oh my god, that is bizarre. So that is the first real compelling reason. You know, if the fact that everything's mathematical is exactly how, you know, a computer program is created. It's not like art, it's a very precise set of measurements and mathematical equations. The second one is the quantum physics argument. So the whole notion that things don't exist unless you're looking at it, unless you're observing it. So, you know, this tree behind me, I can see it in the reflection on my camera, but if I was to turn like so, you could argue that it's no longer being created within the simulation. And that all comes down to computer power, but we'll come back to that in a moment. But effectively, you have the double-slit experiment, which I'm sure you know about. If not, again, look it up on YouTube. It's fascinating. And it was where they did an experiment where they were shooting light photons, particles through double-slit, and it did not behave in the way that they expected until they then started to measure it and observe why it was behaving like that. And then it started to behave in the way that they were expected, which was very bizarre. And then as soon as they stopped measuring it again, it went back to the previous way that it was behaving. So that would suggest that unless you're looking at something, you're observing it. It's the good old, if a tree falls down in a forest and there's no one there to observe it or hear it, does it make a sound? Is the simulation, what would be the point in simulating that sound if no one is there to hear it? It's a waste of computer processing power. And that's exactly how computers work. You know, if you're playing a first-person game, which is effectively a game where you're, you know, looking through your eyes as if you're a real person walking around, it doesn't render things. It doesn't create things that are behind you, because that would just take too much computer power, and it's wasted computer power as well if there's no one there to see it, if you're not looking to the left or to the right to observe that. Equal to that, we can see things out of our peripheral vision, but it's not as clear as when you're looking at something directly. And again, that is exactly the way that VR is created. So VR, with VR goggles, normally where you're looking, the computer is concentrating, is using more processing power to make that a clear image. And then the areas around your eyes, it's still showing it, but it's not as focused. And this is exactly the way that your eyes work effectively. And then the third and final reason, which is kind of relating to what I've just said, is not just around VR, but the fact that we create simulations. Now, the paper that kicked all of this off was by a guy called Nick Bostrom, who I recently discovered is only about a couple of years older than me, which I was a little bit shocked about. I'm not bigging myself up, but I thought looking at me was probably more heading towards 60. Maybe he's had a hard life. But that aside, he was the first person that really kind of popularized this idea that because we create simulations, for all manner of things in our universe, could that suggest that we are in a simulation that somebody a level above has created? Now, that does open up another question, and that is, well, how was base reality created? Because at some stage, this first form of reality had to be created to start creating those simulations, which is a bit of a mind melt, but maybe that is a video for another day. So would love to hear your thoughts as ever in the comments as to whether you think these are compelling reasons, or what are your favorite reasons for suggesting that we really are living in a simulation. Please give me a like as well if you enjoyed this video, if you got anything out of it. I'd hugely appreciate it. And if you like this sort of content, then please consider subscribing to my channel, because I'm creating lots of material all around this rather focused topic. So thanks very much for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.